We have
Oh, hey, I'm Nicholas. What's your name?
Aries
Zayn.
Jade.
as my audience today.
The drug addiction crisis. Does anyone in here know what drug addiction is? Drug addiction is also called substance use disorder. It is where the person's brain is affected and they have the inability to quit using drugs, just the inability to control the use, whether it's legal or illegal. Substances such as alcohol, cocaine, heroin, nicotine are all considered drugs. I have a few statistics here. Among Americans aged 12 years and older, 37.309 million were current illegal drug users. They had used within the last 30 days. And these results were taken by the National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics. And this was in 2020, the most recent. Over 70,000 drug overdoses, they occur annually here, right here in the U.S. Drug overdose deaths involving opioids, such as fentanyl, increased by 10% between 2017 and 2018. Drugs affect you whether you believe it or not. Whether it's in your family, whether it's in your community, whether it's something that you hear about on the news. These are all things that have economic impacts on us all. Many kids end up in foster care each year due to parents being unable to watch their children and care for them and keep them in stable homes due to drug addiction. I have a chart here that shows a breakdown of different drugs, marijuana being the most. You have cocaine, crack, heroin, LSD, ecstasy, and methamphetamine. These statistics were taken in 2018. Right here you can see that drug use is something that globally affects us. You have opium smokers in the East London. This was in their Illustrated News in 1874. You have mummies. That's the beginning of civilization, showing the types of drugs. You have 3rd century Roman. We also have 1865, where cocaine was legal, and it was put in toothache drops. One of the sources that I went over, Mark Antony, he stated something that there's a frequent pendulum that swings back and forth, opposing attitudes on issues currently being debated, such as addiction. Is it a sin? Is it a disease? Should treatment be moral or should it be medical? There is no cure for addiction. There are 2 types of addictions. You have behavioral and you have substance dependency. When you depend on the substance, it has to be something categorized as an opioid, and that's where the body falls in need for that drug or stimulant. for it to function properly. Alcohol is another. Then you have the ones that are affected due to behavior, such as marijuana, cocaine. These are all things where someone may be genetically affected, which has caused them to fall into addiction. Gender also factors in. There are different treatments for drug addiction. You have psychotherapy, medication, behavioral therapy, hospitalization, and support groups. Examples of these can range from NA to AA meetings, being hospitalized so you can begin detoxing. You have medication that may treat mental health, that may help with addiction. Also, you have medication that helps with withdrawal symptoms. It is important that we look at drug addiction here and how it is affecting us. It affects us homeless, it affects the rich, it affects the poor. I would love to be the difference in the world, to educate people on addiction and how drugs have affected our communities. So in conclusion, I want to ask you, how has drugs affected you? Does anyone have any questions? No questions?
Nope.
Thank you so much for your time.